Hey everyone, so today we're going to be making Aang from The Last Airbender. This is what he looks like. We've got the beautiful arrow on the top of his head. We've got this here, all the colors that we've used right here. So let's get straight into it by talking about the materials that we use. Alright, so we will be using a 1.9mm hook. Then we will also use a pair of cutters. Of course, we will have our 4-ply cotton yarn in the colors red, autumn yellow, orange, dark brown, flesh pink, and this cerulean blue. So those are the colors that we'll need. If you need to adapt some of these colors, feel free to do that as well, no problem at all. We will also be using a tapestry needle or a sewing needle. Whatever you have is more than fine. I'll probably be using these interchangeably. And then of course we will also need some either 6 or 7mm black safety eyes. Mine are 6mm at this point in time, but feel free to use 7mm if that's what you have as well. And then lastly, we will also need some fiber filling. So those are the materials. All right, let's get straight into it. All right, so to begin, we're going to use this autumn yellow colored yarn right here, and we'll just start off by making a magic ring. Now, if you don't know how to make a magic ring or you're very new to crochet, I recommend that you have a look at my beginner crochet tutorials playlist. Get all of those techniques understood and develop that muscle memory, and then come back to this tutorial and make the magic ring. So we're making a magic ring, and we are now going to make 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. But I just want to show you the technique that I use to make every single one of my single crochet stitches. What I do is yarn will come underneath the hook first, so it's always yarn under first, and then from there we go yarn over. So I do that all the time, yarn under, yarn over. So I'll just show you again, yarn under the hook, and then yarn goes over the hook. So that is how I currently crochet, and I recommend you guys doing that as well. If you do yarn under, feel free to continue doing that. But I wouldn't recommend for amigurumi to do the yarn over technique. So let's continue. We're making 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. So this is number 4 for me, number 5, and number 6, just like that. From here we're going to pull the magic tail all the way, pull it nice and tightly with your cotton yarn. Feel free, by the way, to use up to a 3mm hook. If that's what you want to use, you can use that with 4-ply cotton yarn. Otherwise, a 1.9 is absolutely perfect. We are going to now enter the hook into the first stitch, and we will make a slip stitch. Make sure you get all of the yarn on the hook, and then chain 1. And we're going to slip stitch and chain 1 at the end of every round, except for the point where we get to Aang's head. Alright, so let's start round number 2 now. We're coming inside the first stitch, and we're going to make an increase. So this is how we make it. 1 single crochet stitch first, then go back inside that same stitch space and make a second single crochet stitch. So here is my second single crochet stitch inside that same space. So let's do it again. We're making the second increase. So here's 1 single crochet stitch, come back inside the same space and make a second single crochet stitch. Now I have made not 1 but 2 increases, as they are called. Let's make another increase. So there's 1, same stitch space, and another single crochet stitch, and now we have 3 increases made. Let's make another 3 increases with the 3 leftover stitches, and then we will have 12 single crochet stitches in round number 2. So let's do that first, and then pause the video and then come back once you're done so we can start round 3 together. Round 2 is now complete. So I've just done that slip stitch and I'm chaining 1 to finish off that round. Now for round 3 we are going to do the following. We have a single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase. 1, same stitch space, second single crochet stitch. And we're just going to repeat that pattern. So single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase. And we repeat that for a total of 6 times, and you will have 18 single crochet stitches at the end of round 3. And don't forget to finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1. Round 3 is now complete. So for round number 4, this is where we're going to start making the feet. And I'm going to show you how to do this now. So we'll do this together. First of all, make 5 regular single crochet stitches. So here's number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Now before the completion of the 5th single crochet stitch, we are going to change the yarn color. If you have dark brown, please use dark brown. If you don't, like I currently don't, I'm just going to use a regular brown here. And this is where we change the yarn color to brown. So I'm pulling the brown through the 2 loops on the hook to finish off the 5th single crochet stitch. So you've got 5 single crochet stitches right there. Now at this point, we're going to make something called a spike bubble stitch. Now it's not difficult, I promise you, but this is how you do it. You want to wrap the yarn as part of the bubble stitch, and then you don't want to go in this next stitch space up here. Instead, you want to go into the elongated stitch space below it, and that's what is called the spike, if that makes sense. So we've wrapped the yarn, we've come into the spike section, or that stitch space, elongated stitch space, and we pull up the yarn and we'll pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, just like that. And we're just going to repeat this. Wrap the yarn, same stitch space, pull up the yarn and pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, and we'll keep repeating it until we have 4 loops left on the hook. So let's do that now. Wrap the yarn, come in here, pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, and now this is the point where we have 4 loops on the hook. Change the yarn color back to autumn yellow and pull that autumn yellow yarn through all 4 loops on the hook to finish off that bubble stitch, just like that. And I'm just making sure I get all of that yarn on my hook as I do that. Now from here we'll continue as normal. You might want to have the brown yarn come on top of the hook just for 1 stitch at least. And you can do that both with its yarn tail as well, just so it doesn't get caught away or unravel at any point. It probably wouldn't, but just in case, to secure it even more. So we'll make 5 single crochet stitches now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the 5th. But before we finish that 5th stitch, we're going to grab our brown colored yarn again, pull it through, just like that. Push this out. It tends to go the other way, so make sure you push that bubble stitch out. And then from here we're going to do the exact same thing, that spike bubble stitch. So not here, but come down here, elongated spike stitch, but we're doing a bubble. So you've wrapped the yarn first, pulled through 2 loops left on the hook. Wrap the yarn, same space, pull the yarn through 2, we've got 3 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn, same space, pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. Now we have 4 loops on the hook, and this is where we change back to autumn yellow, pull it through all 4 loops on the hook, just like that. Now when we come into the next stitch space, we're going to have that brown yarn come at least on top of the hook and weave it in at least 1 time. So there's 1 single crochet stitch there, and we'll continue on until we finish this 4th round. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally number 6 to finish off the 4th round. Make sure you finish it with that slip stitch and chain 1, just like that. And then you want to push that bubble stitch out so you can see the legs or the feet, just like that. Okay, so from this point, round number 5 is fairly simple. We're just making 18 single crochet stitches all the way around. And before we finish the 18th stitch, we're going to change our yarn color to orange. So go all the way around with single crochet stitches, and on that 18th stitch, we'll change the yarn color together. Alright, so as you can see, we're on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th round, and we're now going to change the yarn color to orange. So we're going to pull that orange yarn through the stitch space right there, and then finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1. And you might want to have these 2 yarn pieces over the hook as you make that slip stitch and chain 1. And now we are ready to begin our 6th round. So for rounds 6 and 7, all we're doing, very simple again, is 18 single crochet stitches. And once you get to the 8th round, on the 18th stitch, we're going to change the yarn color back to autumn yellow. So we'll do that together. So all you need to know is 2 rounds of 18 single crochet stitches in orange, and we will change the yarn color back to autumn yellow on that very last stitch of round number 8. And what I did mean here is round number 7. Sorry about that. So this is round number 7 now. So for round 6 and 7, we did those 2 orange rounds. And now I'm going to change back to autumn yellow because I'm on that 18th stitch of my 7th round. So let's do that now. Just grab that autumn yellow colored yarn, pull it through Make sure you're not pulling too tight. You give yourself a little bit of space with your yarn as well, and you can always weave it in or the excess in as you go. And then from here you're just going to make a regular slip stitch and chain one, and we are ready now to begin round number 8. Now with this brown yarn, you can also cut it away and just get rid of it so it doesn't get involved with any of the other yarn as you're going along, since we don't need it anymore. So this is perfect, and we can just put the rest inside the body as we go. Okay, so for round number 8, we're going to be working in the back loops only. So as you can see, this is a back loop right here, so we're not working in the front and back. We are just working in the back loops all the way around, single crochet stitches, and we will have 18 single crochet stitches, but just in the back loop only. Alright, so let's continue with round number 8, and we'll come back at the end of round number 8. Okay, so for rounds numbers 9 and 10, we're just going to continue in the front and back loops all the way around, 18 single crochet stitches. So again, that's just 2 rounds of 18 single crochet stitches. So I'll let you guys do that, pause the video and come back to begin the next round together. Okay, so we have just finished that round right there, and we're going to cut the orange yarn because we don't need that orange yarn anymore as well. And then from here, this is the next round that we are going to begin, and we're going to add the arms in this round. So remember, chain 1 to finish the previous round, and then we'll do and make 4 single crochet stitches in autumn yellow. So 1, 2, 3, and here's the 4th. But before we finish that 4th one, we are going to grab our flesh pink colored yarn. So this will be for the hands. I'm just going to grab some right here, see if we can get it out. Right here. Alright, so we've got our flesh pink colored yarn, as you can see here. We are going to change the color to that flesh pink. Pull it through, just like that. Pull those yarn tails together. Pull the autumn yarn tail as well, the autumn yellow colored yarn tail. And then from here, to make the arms, or the hands, we are going to do the same spike bubble stitch. Let's do it together now. So we wrap the yarn, not come here, but come in that elongated stitch space, pull the yarn through, pull it through 2. And again, wrap that yarn, pull it through 2. Wrap the yarn again, this will be the last time, and pull it through 2. Now you have 4 loops on the hook, as we talked about before with these legs, and this is the part where you're going to change back to your autumn yellow, just like that. Give the flesh pink yarn a little bit of a tug there. And then from here, we're going to make 7 single crochet stitches in autumn yellow. But for the very first one, we're going to incorporate that flesh pink colored yarn. So here's the first stitch, just like that. Now we don't need to incorporate that flesh pink anymore. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. And number 7. Now at any point that I'm going too fast for you guys, don't forget to pause that video, do it yourselves, and then come back and I'll show the next thing that we're doing. Okay, so this is the part where we're going to change back to our flesh pink colored yarn, and notice how I'm giving myself a little bit of excess yarn there, so I'm not pulling it too tight, and then I pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. With that excess that I can see here, it's not pulling anything over here, so I'm going to weave this in as I go for the next 1 or 2 stitches, just to tightly secure it. And I'm going to make that spike bubble stitch as normal. So here we go, not here, but here, down here. Hook goes in, we've wrapped it already, pull the yarn through, pull the yarn through 2. Wrap the yarn again, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through 2. Last time, wrap the yarn, same stitch space, and pull the yarn through 2. You have 4 loops on the hook. This is where we change our yarn color to autumn yellow, and pull it all the way through just like that. Fantastic. So now we will have the remaining autumn yellow single crochet stitches until the end, and for the very first one, we are going to weave in that flesh pink yarn tail. So here is our first single crochet stitch. We can even do it for another time. Second, now I can leave this alone. Here's number 3. Here's number 4. Number 5, and as you can see, there were 6 single crochet stitches left just like that. Now finish off with that slip stitch and chain 1. You can leave this flesh pink yarn right there because we will use it a little bit later as well. Alright, for this next round, we are going to have a decrease round. So this is how it works. First of all, we're going to make a single crochet stitch just like that. And then next, we're going to make an invisible decrease. So to do the invisible decrease, you want to have your hook going through the front loop of the next stitch, and then directly into the front loop again of the next stitch. So you've got front loop into 2 of those stitches. Then you pull the yarn through, keep it nice and tight, not too tight though, and then pull the yarn through those 2 loops on the hook. And that there is your invisible decrease, because we've made 2 single crochet stitches into now 1. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So single crochet stitch first, and then an invisible decrease, front loop, pull through, pull through. There you go. So single crochet stitch first, then front loop, and you get faster at this over time. Make sure you get into that front loop, pull the yarn through and pull it through. Single crochet, this is the 4th time, and now the 4th decrease right here, the invisible decrease, pull through and pull through just like so. Single crochet stitch followed by the beautiful invisible decrease. And let's do it one more time. Single crochet stitch followed by the invisible decrease, pull the yarn through. We've got 2 loops on the hook, and guess what? This is where we're going to change the yarn color to flesh pink, because now we are going to start the head. So we pull the flesh pink yarn color through just like that. And our last decrease, so here it is, invisible decrease, front loop, pull the yarn through, and here we're going to change our yarn color to flesh pink, because we're going to start the head at this very next point. So pull that flesh pink yarn through those 2 loops on the hook, come into the very first stitch over here, have the autumn yellow colored yarn on top of the hook, give it a little bit of a tug, make a slip stitch, and chain 1. There you go. Alright, look at that, guys. We've made some progress. We've got the entire body there as well, which is fantastic. Now, the next thing we want to do is start the head. Now, with the head, it's very simple, nothing too complicated at this point, except for the very first round of the head. You are going to be working inside those back loops only all the way around. And we're going to be doing the following. We're making a single crochet stitch first in the back loop, and then in the second back loop you'll make an increase. So that's 1 single crochet stitch, then in the same stitch space you'll make another single crochet stitch. Let's do it all again. So we've got single crochet stitch first, followed by in the next back loop an increase, 1 and 2, just like that. And I want you to repeat that pattern, single crochet followed by an increase in the back loops all the way around until you finish, and you will have a total of 18 single crochet stitches. And don't forget to finish with a slip stitch and chain 1 of that round. Alright, so we've just finished that final increase in the back loop for the first round of the head, and I did say to finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1, but we are actually going to be crocheting in a spiral from here on out. So this is how we do it. I have just directly put my hook inside this very first stitch, and instead of picking the slip stitch as I normally would, as I've done here, instead we're just going to start the very next round straight away. So this is how we do it. For this next round we've got a single crochet stitch, another single crochet stitch, and an increase. So did you notice that we did not 1 but 2 single crochet stitches first, followed by an increase. And from here on out we're going to repeat that until we have 24 stitches in the round, and we continue in a spiral. So if you are not that great at counting, or you think you'll get lost, put a stitch marker inside that very first stitch of that round, and we'll continue on just like that. Okay, so we've just finished the last increase of that round, and remember we're crocheting in a spiral, so I'm about to start the next round, and it will actually be for the next 5 rounds, working our way up. We will have 24 single crochet stitches in flesh pink. So remember, that's 5 rounds. So you can see I've started the first round right there, And I'm just going to continue on. There's 24 single crochet stitches in each round, and you'll continue doing this for the next 5 rounds. Okay, so once we finish those 5 rounds, come back and we will continue on to finish that head. Alright, so we've just finished that 5th round of the head, and that was my 24th stitch right here. So I'm going to pull this up a little bit because we've got a few other things to do first. So the reason why I pull this up is so we don't pull this out and start unraveling our head. But there are a few things that we first need to do. So one of which is we find the middle between the feet and come to the center of the head. So I am going to, so you find that midpoint essentially, and I think that midpoint will be right here because you want it in the middle of those 2 feet as best as you can. So I think one will go right here. So what we'll do is we're going to attach orange colored yarn just like this. So we've got our orange colored yarn here, and we are going to attach it by doing the following. You can squish this as much as you want to help you as well. So what we want to do first is enter the hook. So we've turned our product upside down, right? And then you found that midpoint, and then you've inserted your hook through that front loop. You're going to now grab your orange yarn. So yarn goes over and it comes through that front loop, and then you will chain 1 just like that. Okay, so you've chained 1 now, and what we'll do from here is we're going to wrap the yarn, come inside the same loop, and pull out the yarn and make a half double crochet stitch just like that. So a half double crochet stitch is now complete. Pull this yarn thread here because we'll be weaving it in as we go. Wrap the yarn again, and we're going to alternate between half double crochet stitch and a half double crochet stitch increase. So remember, increase is just 2 of the same thing inside the same stitch space. So I've just made a half double crochet increase inside that same stitch space, and now we have 3 in total. And we're going to repeat that all the way around for a total of 6 times. So half double crochet stitch first, followed by a half double crochet increase, and I'm just weaving in this so it goes on top of the hook as I do that, just for a couple of those stitches to make sure that yarn tail is firmly secured. So I don't really need to weave it in anymore at this point, but feel free to continue to weave it in if you'd like to. Okay, I'm coming into the next stitch, front loop space, and I'm just going to make a half double crochet stitch, and then in the very next one I will make a half double crochet increase just like that. So remember, we have in the next front loop a half double crochet stitch, and then in the next one a half double crochet increase just like that. I think we've got another couple to go, so let's try this one first. Half double crochet stitch coming right up, followed by half double crochet increase, and we look like we have 1 left to go, so let's do that now. So half double crochet stitch first, followed by a half double crochet increase, 1 and number 2 right there. Now what I might do is make a quick chain 1, and then I'm going to come into the next stitch space, that's where we started in that front loop, and just make a slip stitch just to even that out as best as we can. Then I'll pull the yarn tail through and cut it because we will eventually weave this into the body. So we can pull that up right there just like that, and then eventually we are going to have this inside the body just to complete that there. We can also, for this yarn tail over here, we can just completely cut it just like that. We have no use for it anymore. Alright, so there we go. There's basically that collar for the airbender. Now we can continue with the head. So in order to complete the head now, let's continue on with the next round. So I've got my hook back inserted in where we left off, and this is how we're going to do it. We'll make 2 single crochet stitches, so 1 and 2, followed by an invisible decrease. And just to remember and recall, invisible decrease is front loop, front loop again, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through. You want to repeat that for a total of 6 times. So 1 single crochet stitch, 2 single crochet stitch, and here is the invisible decrease, 1 and 2, front loops, pull through, pull through. So that's twice that I've done it. We want a total of 6 times all the way around. So continue that and then we will move on. Okay, so we've just finished that round, and again I'm going to lift up this yarn tail here just so we can start inserting the eyes. Now remember, the eyes go between these 2 feet, so we've got this in between the feet. Now we're going to insert the eyes. So we need our 6mm safety eyes, which I have right here. So let's grab a pair of these out. So there's 1, and here's number 2, just like that. And then from here, what we're going to do is find where to put them. So I think we need to put them, I want this to be the center, so this is kind of where the nose goes. So I'm going to have 1 over here and push that through as best as I can, just like that. And then the other one perhaps over here. I don't want these eyes too far apart as well, so we'll just make adjustments as we go. But I think actually that is quite decent. So right now this one had about 1, 2, 3 and a bit spaces apart, 1, 2, 3 and a little bit spaces apart. Perfect. Okay, so that's what we've got right here. And remember, this was our layer up here, or our round where we had 2 single crochet stitches followed by a decrease. So then under that, and then under that again, between these 2 rounds is where you'll lay the eyes. Over here you can read where exactly. Okay, so now we have the back of this, and we've got to secure this nicely on the back. So let me just push that on, just like that. And I always like the inner part to be facing this closest to the yarn as well. So the inner section, the point where it kind of points, will be closest to the yarn. So there's 1, and we'll just do the other one. So again, this side will be closest to the yarn as we put it on. There we go. Alright, so the eyes are nice and secured. Now the next thing we can do is start adding the fiber filling now to the body. So let's do that as well. And the best way to add fiber filling is just to add a little bit at a time. Just a little bit at a time. You never want to add too much at a time. And if you have a pair of cutters or something, this will help you poke it in so that you can really condense that yarn and compact it nice and neatly inside your body. So remember, small layer by layer adding your fiber filling, not too much at a time, all the way through. So I'll let you guys do that. Pause the video, fill it up with fiber filling, and then we'll complete the last 2 rounds for the body slash head until we have almost finished our beautiful Aang. And there we go. So the fiber filling is now inside the head. So what we'll do here is just grab our yarn back, put it on the hook, and we've got 2 more rounds to go. Not too difficult here. We're almost there. I've kind of got my 3rd finger here holding the fiber filling inside because you don't want to weave it in as you crochet. So for this next round, we're going to make 1 single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. Super simple, and we repeat this a total of 6 times. So this is the 2nd time, single first, followed by invisible decrease. Just like that. Let's do it again. Single first, followed by invisible decrease. Repeat that another 3 times, and then we'll start the very last round together. Alright, so we're up to the last round right here. And in this last round, so far we have 12 single crochet stitches in this round. In the last round, we're going to end up with 7 single crochet stitches, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, we are just making invisible decreases all the way around, but just 5 times. So here's the first one, number 1. Here's the second one, number 2. Then the third, number 3. Here is the 4th invisible decrease. And only 1 more, so we're not doing 6, just 5. So here's the 5th invisible decrease, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Can you see how this gap is quite small here? If we did another decrease, we're making it even smaller, and so when we seal up the head, we don't want any bumps to appear. So that's why we only do 5 decreases. But in this very next one, just to even it all out, we'll insert our hook in that next stitch and just make a slip stitch to finish it off. Just like that. Then we'll pull up, cut around about 10 to 12 centimeters. I probably cut about 15. There's no harm in cutting more, as long as you don't want to run out of yarn or anything like that. Now grab your tapestry needle, just like I have right here, or a sewing needle, whatever you have handy, something that you're familiar with working with. Alright, so we've got our tapestry needle here. If you need to add any more fiber filling, do so now before it's too late. And now this is how we do it. So you've got your tapestry needle, and it's going to go through the front loops, again the front loops only, of all those remaining stitches. So there's 1, here's 2, here's number 3, here's number 4, front loop only, remember, 5, 6, and there should be 7. Number 7 right there. Okay, now watch carefully as you pull this. Watch how it closes. So we're pulling, 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 pulling. It's closed nice and tightly right there. And then what we do is we're going to insert the yarn needle, or this needle here, tapestry needle, into the center of that gap. And I'm just going to go out somewhere in the head. Now watch as we pull this a little bit more. Pull, 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 pull. You see how it flattens itself at the top there, and there are no bumps, or at least we can't really observe any bumps. If we did 6 decreases, we'd definitely have a bump. So we're lucky we only did 5. And now from here, we're going to weave this yarn tail. And can you see with each of these stitches, there's a little sort of diagonal mark? We're going to follow that diagonal mark, as you can see. And that makes it so that our sewing is seamless as we sew this around the head. So it kind of just matches that diagonal mark for each stitch. So again, here is another diagonal mark. So we're coming here. We'll do the same thing. So diagonal mark, all done, and maybe just one more in that diagonal mark, and then that should be enough. 3 times is enough to secure this up here. Don't pull it too tightly either as you weave your yarn through those stitches. Okay, so there we go. Let us put this part in the body as well. So I'm going to push it in here. It can come out anywhere because we don't need to secure it later. That's more than fine. Or you could push it all the way to this orange section here if you wanted to. It's really up to you guys. We don't need to secure this much. We don't need to tie it to anything. It will be fine once it's just put inside the body. Unless you pull it, of course. But we have no intention of pulling anything. So let's just weave this yarn tail through the eye of the needle, pull it through, and there we go. So there we go, we can cut this. If you had woven it here, you could maybe weave it again like to this space and then come out another section and just even more secure it. But that's completely up to you. I've just cut mine straight away. No issues there. Okay, so here is so far my Aang. Now we have a few more things to go. We need to make the red cape, and we need to sew the cerulean blue arrow on the top of his head. So let us do that now. Let's do the cape first. Okay, so for the cape, you'll need some red colored yarn. Leave a little bit of a yarn tail, just maybe about 10 centimeters worth or something, and start off by making a slip knot. Just a regular slip knot, just like that. From here, we're going to chain 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I'm too fast, pause that video, guys. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, so from here, we're going to work in the second loop from the hook. So here's the loop from the hook. We're working in the second loop from the hook. And we are going to continue on all the length of this chain with single crochet stitches. So you see, we've done 1 right there. Here's number 2, single crochet stitch. Here's number 3, single crochet stitch. Continue all the way until you have a total of 24 single crochet stitches. Here is the 24th single crochet stitch right there. Now we are going to work backwards as well. So in order to do that, this is our row 2. And to start it, we need to chain 1 and turn our piece around. So now we're working on the back end and we'll start the second row. So for this back end, we're just going to be doing the following: half double crochet stitches all the way across. So there's a total of 24. So here's another half double crochet stitch in the next space. If you can't see that space, just have a look here. Can you see this and this and this? That's all the spaces, and make sure you get in both the front and the back loops as you do that, not just the front. So be aware of that. And continue on, guys. Again, can you see I'm in the front and back loops, and I'm making that half double crochet stitch. And we'll just continue that until you have 24 half double crochet stitches, and then we will finish that off. And I'm almost up to the 24th, so I'm right up here, the 24th single crochet, half double crochet stitch. It might be a little bit hard to see, but you've got to come in kind of under here and direct that needle or the hook as best as you can, so you're getting both the front and the back loops. So do that as best as you can, guys, and then just finish off with that 24th half double crochet stitch. Once you've done that, you're going to pull the yarn through and leave again about a 10cm yarn tail. Okay, so we have our cape right here, and it's going to come around, so make sure this side is facing outward, and you put it all the way around just like this. And what you want to do is grab your tapestry needle, grab one of those yarn tails, and then you're going to have it inserted kind of in that midway point right here, okay? And then I'm going to poke it out somewhere else in the body. So I'm going to pull, 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 just like that. Then I've released it from my needle, and I'm grabbing the other yarn tail now from the other end. I'll weave this into my tapestry needle, and then make sure this is all facing the same direction as you go. And can you see how this here is the wrong way around? That's okay, because what we'll do is we'll kind of weave it until we get to the very tippy top. Just inserted right there. So that's what we do. We've kind of woven it all the way until we get to the top. And then I'm going to enter my yarn into the same area or stitch space that I did before, and have my needle come out in the same stitch space where I emerged as well. So let us pull, 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 pull. Let's pull it nicely so it pulls all the way. Can you see that? There we go. So we pull these two yarn tails together as best as we can. And now, at the back here, all we have left to do is tie these together. So give it a nice tug the first time. Tie it again. Give it a better tug the second time. There you go. And now we can weave this into the body to hide it. And there is our coat. Just like that. And give this a little bit more of a tug so it's just... it's not so distorted. So there we go. Okay, so there's the cape. We're looking great. We have one thing left to do, and that's the head. And this time I am going to be using a sewing needle. But if you only have a tapestry needle, that's more than fine as well. So as you can see here, I'm going to be using this cerulean blue. And if you have any other type of blue, feel free to use it, no problem at all. So here I'm going to cut a good maybe 40 to 50 centimeters worth of this blue colored yarn, and then I'm going to weave it into the eye of my sewing needle. And sewing needles are a lot smaller as well, which is great. I love it, and it just makes it for easier use. But then you have to be careful how you come out of these stitch spaces. That's the only thing. So we're just going to mark. I think if you have any of like these type of pins, it's best to mark the middle of that forehead, which is kind of there really. And you can see we're not coming in a stitch space here. And when you have a sewing needle, it makes it a lot easier so that you can either work in the stitch space or you can work right in between it as well. You can kind of get through those yarn threads. So that's why I like sewing needles, especially with this type of work. Alright, we're forming a triangle. So we need to make this triangle nice and neat, don't we? So for this one, we kind of worked up our way 2 stitch spaces or 2 rows. So here's the first row, second row. So we kind of came up here. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, guys. If you have a different triangle, feel free to do that as well. Alright, so here is my little triangle, worked through 2 rows. Now I'm going to have my needle come and insert anywhere but through a stitch space. I'm going to pull this out, and we are going to go insert our needle exactly where that pin was, which was right there. Pull this all the way until you have a little bit of a tail left over, just about that much. That's more than fine. And now you can undo this pin, come right here. Then I could come over here, just like that. You can see how I'm working through these pins to make this triangle as best as I can. Come into the same front section. I'm just going to keep weaving basically through those 3 spaces until I have formed a beautiful triangle. And I'm just going to keep weaving in and out until I have formed it nice and neatly. So once I've got this part at the top here, I'm now going to keep weaving up and down, up and down, up and down, all the way until that's done. So I'll give you guys, I'll put this on 2 times speed so you can see what I've done. And then we'll continue on. Alright guys, so we've just made that arrow right there. It's kind of in the center of the eyes, which is perfect. I've kind of squeezed it together a little bit more as well. And then I've entered my needle at the back here, which hopefully is kind of in line at the center here. I might have to move this across maybe 1 stitch just to align it a little bit better. Or, yeah, I will definitely align that better. So I'm coming back into this stitch space here and then coming just 1 stitch space across. That will disappear. Now I'm in the right section and I'm going to work my yarn down here just 1 time. So it's kind of in the center of that arrow at the back. Come back in this stitch space over here. Pull it through. There we go, you can see that's looking lovely. I'll do another one, another line. Same space, come out at the same point as well. If you need a pair of pliers as well to pull your yarn, feel free to do that too. There's no harm in that. Okay, and now from here you can even do another one if you really wanted to. In fact, we probably will do another one, just to make that as thick as possible where it looks, you know, in proportion with the arrow at the head. This is all just kind of, you're looking at it, you're seeing if, you know, the thickness is good, if the amount is good. There's no real set way of doing all this, by the way. Okay, this is the 3rd time, so it's either twice or 3 times. Just want to pull it all together as well. And see how this kind of indents itself in? Just put your needle there and just lift it back up. Alright, that's really all. Now you could even weave kind of through the base of this if you wanted to as well. If you think it's secure enough, feel free to leave it as is. I'll just do a couple of wraps here and there. See how I'm just wrapping it across? But I'm just being very careful not to pull it too tightly as I do that either. And I can even go through a little bit of the pink, flesh pink yarn thread as well, This is the brilliance of using a sewing needle, by the way. So there we go, almost wrapped it to the top. Just like that, and that will just really secure it in place. Come here for the final one, come out and emerge where this stitch space is, which is my other tail. Just make sure I'm not getting any other yarn threads as I do that, because as we tie this together, we don't want to have it stranded there, and that will make more sense as I explain it later. So pull that up again. We've got a nice arrow now. Now with these two yarn tails, they're right in that stitch space. They're not separated by a little bit of fiber, because we want to insert this back into the body, and you don't want it to be, you know, tied a knot around a piece of fiber that prevents it from being inserted back into the body, or the head in this case. So we double knotted that. We cut the yarn, and we are pushing this back into the head. It wasn't separated by a fiber filling, which is perfect, and there we go. There is our famous Aang character. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Obviously you can modify this as best as you want, but please don't resell or distribute the pattern. This is, you know, Mnash Threads owned. So enjoy, guys, and yeah, please don't forget to subscribe. We've got more characters coming out. Feel free to buy the patterns on mnashthreads.etsy.com, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.